Hello everyone, welcome back to Skill Up with Dinesh. If you are a DevOps engineer, you may have probably have heard about these terms like DevOps, MLOps, LLMOps, and AIOps. But are they same, or should you learn all of them, and which one actually matters for your career? So I will be today breaking down all of them with simplest example. So most people get confused because all of them sound similar, but each one is here to solve a different problem. So the traditional way, let's start with DevOps. So as we know that DevOps is basically a CI/CD system, it's basically a foundation and it focuses on building, deploying and managing the applications faster using the automations. And in DevOps, we use tools like Jenkins and GitHub, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform. So all those are DevOps tools. So if I say in one line, if we deploy an application using CI/CD pipelines, then that is DevOps. Okay. And if you break it down further, so set of practice to build, deploy and operate software faster and reliably. So it mainly focus on CI/CD pipelines. So CI/CD pipeline again could be divided into two parts. There could be infra pipeline. With that we manage our infrastructure and the infrastructure is written in Terraform. And then there is a CI/CD pipeline for the application from where we deploy the application. Okay, and after deploying the applications, we also monitor the system and check the reliability. So in this process, the tools are typically used. Like for CI/CD purpose, we use Jenkins and GitHub Actions. To manage the infrastructure, we use Terraform or CloudFormation. And to manage the workload, either we can use containers like Docker and Kubernetes, or we can use traditional VMs like EC2s or Elastic Beanstalk. And for monitoring purpose, we are using Prometheus and Grafana. And here is an example. So let's say we have a microservice. So for that microservice, we will be managing the infrastructure through Terraform, and then there will be a Jenkins pipeline or GitHub action, whatever, for the CI/CD management, and then there will be something where the actual workload will be deployed. It could be either Kubernetes or EC2s or Elastic Beanstalk. There could be anything. So if we are following this practice, then we can say we are following DevOps practices. Now let's jump on to MLOps. So MLOps mainly talk about data, training the data model and deploying that model so the end consumers can use it. Okay, so we can say MLOps is an extension of DevOps but purely for machine learning models. So now let's first understand what exactly is a model. So a model is a kind of a system which is trained with some kind of data and that predict some output. So for example, there could be some models for spam detection. So like whenever you get any email, we can know that Gmail can detect whether it's a spam email or it's a real email. So in that case, that is the model where inputs it has been trained on lots of emails, and whenever new email is coming, based on its learning, it can detect whether it's a spam email or it's a correct email. Okay, similarly we can take one more example is stock market data. So we can create a model which will be trained on all previous stock related information, let's say 10 years of data or 20 years of data, and then based on that information it can predict whether a particular stock will go to the upwards or it will go to the downwards. Okay, so that is all about MLOps. So here what we focus on data pipeline, we focus on data training and model versioning and model deployment. So data pipeline means from where data you will be collecting, because there could be multiple sources for data collection, then data cleaning, then data segregation. Okay, then you will train the model. So you will create a system which will be getting trained on all the previous data. Then as per you are adding to your training your model on different sets of data, different sets of parameters. So that will be model versioning, and then with the help of some CI/CD pipeline, you will be deploying your models. So here, what are the tools we are using? So for ML, we are using tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch, and pipelines we use Kubeflow, MLflow, and for data management we use S3 or some other like Redshift, or it could be other big data. And then for deployment, we use SageMaker and Kesar. So SageMaker is one of the AWS service where you can deploy your models. Okay, so here I give an example that like the spam detection, stock prediction, and so as part of MLOps engineer, your responsibility is to collect the data, train the model, and deploy the model. So then that model will be used as the end user. Okay, so like you can deploy a model as an API. For example, I have created a model for stock prediction, and in the API I will just provide the stock ticker or stock name, and then model will process it and it will give us the analysis on the stock. Okay, so that is MLOps. Next, we have LLMOps. Okay, it is again we can say is a specialized version of MLOps. Here we do not focus on different sets of models. Instead, we focus on particularly LLM. LLM means large language models like ChatGPT. So how it works? So here we work with the prompts and vector databases and embeddings and APIs. So for example, let's say if you are building a chatbots, AI assistants or generative AI applications, then that will be known as the LLMOps. Okay, so here it is a no it is fall under it is fall under MLOps only, but it's a specialized only for large language models. Like as I mentioned, ChatGPT, LLM, Llama, Claude. So here we focus on prompt engineering, RAG, retrieval augmented generation, fine tuning of the models, cost optimizations. Because see here in MLOps we have built the model, but how we'll get to know that where they are properly optimized or not, to get a certain amount of data, how much time they are having API calls to the database. Safety and hallucination control. Hallucination safety, as we know that that let's say take an example of ChatGPT. You cannot ask ChatGPT some sensitive information. It will not allow you. It will not answer you those things. Let's say if you ask ChatGPT that, hey, can you give me your source code, it will not give you. Or if you ask some let's say illegal activities, so for those things we use LLMOps where we put control on such things. Also, we put control on hallucination where our model should only predict the data based on the training, not on some assumptions. Okay, so here what kind of tools we use? So we have LLM APIs from OpenAI, Anthropic, and then we have some vector databases. The vector databases are different from traditional database. Like traditional database are key value pair database or relational database, but they are in this vector database are different. So here we have some example like Pinecone, Waviate, and there are different frameworks for this like LangChain, Llama Index. Okay, so some examples here are like building ChatGPT, ChatGPT bot, but for a specific requirement. So here we'll be using OpenAI API, and VectorDB, prompt templates. So if someone is working on this area, then he can be he or she can be known as the MLOps engineer. Lastly, we have is the AIOps. Now, what is AIOps? So AIOps is completely different. Like instead of building the applications or building model, it uses the existing AI tools to improve the IT operations. So, for example, we have deployed our systems, we have deployed our applications on some servers. So here we will be leveraging AI tools to detect some anomalies in our system, like guessing the user's pattern at that time, like for example, at what particular time we have more customers and which pages our customers are using most. Okay, those kind of prediction, and reducing the alerts, like if there is some alerts, so like some kind of alerts we can predict and we can resolve with the help of AI ops. And the most important part is predicting failures, like based on our application uses pattern, it can detect and show that what could be the where could be the next failure and how it can be avoided. Okay, so if you are doing that thing, then you can say is the AI ops engineer. So like using the existing AI and ML to automate your IT, The example, as I mentioned, focus will be on anomaly detection, root cause analysis, alert reduction, and predictive scaling. So, like if you can predict, okay, that so if I give you a real time example, let's say we have deployed an e-commerce application, and our system will detect that in the next Black Friday sale you will be having 4x more audience. So it will give us suggestion that, okay, hey, you should increase your system to 4x capacity. Okay, how it will do? By predicting the previous traffic. So here we can leverage some tools like Dynatrace, Datadog AI, New Relic, and all these tools are now coming up with the AI. So we can connect our system to these tools, and they can find out our pattern. So some of the example, like detect unusual CPU spike, auto identify root cause, reduce alert noise. So if someone is working around these areas, then that is AIOps. Okay, so if I summarize it, DevOps means deploying your applications with some automations. MLOps, deploying machine learning models. Okay, here you play around data pipelines, and then we have LLMOps, large language models ops. Here we are building AI applications, but specifically with generative AI like ChatGPT. And AIOps, where we are using existing AI systems to better manage our existing system. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Now, as per the career advice, so if you are already in the DevOps, then easiest transition we can right now move to LLMOps, where we can learn how the data pipelines are working, how to collect data, how to build a model, how to train the model, and then how to deploy the model for the end consumption. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all for the day, guys. So if you want, no, I can create a complete roadmap for transitioning from DevOps to LLMOps engineer. If you want that, please put in the comment box. Thanks, everyone.